Namaste. This is the time of examinations. We keep hearing about all the board exams beginning now in March. Some children are facing 10th board exam, some children plus 2, and some of them are writing entrance exams like NEET or any other exams. So it's all a time of a lot of tension in many houses. And more than the children or the students who are writing the exams, I always feel it is the parents who are under even more stress because they are worried about their children, and most of the tension also goes and it affects the child. So this video is about what parents can do when their children are facing exams or writing exams, and how they can help their children to do better. I'm just going to give you 5 points, and think about these 5 points, try to practice them, and you will see a lot of difference. Point number 1: the tension that a parent feels in the mind about the child's performance in the exam is something which you can almost feel when you look at a parent who has a child who's going to write an exam. And most of the time, what happens is the parent passes on this tension to the child. That is what you should avoid. You can motivate your child, your son or daughter, by saying, look, you do very well because you need to get good marks so that you can get admission in this college, that university, whatever you wish to say. That is okay. General motivation is good. And another thing you should tell the child is, throughout the year you have been studying, and this is the time for you to now perform. So make sure you do your best. Do not worry about anything, just do your best. But instead of this, many parents keep on telling their children, you must get 99 out of 100. If you don't get 99%, you will not get admission here, or you will not get admission there, or something like that. Many times in counseling sessions, when they bring their children to me because they are not studying properly, I speak to the boy or girl alone without the parents. And many times the student has told me that, see, I can study, ma'am, I can do well, I know, I have the confidence. But the way my mother puts this tension into me, she says 99%, 99%. That 99% puts me off. The boy or the girl would say, I sincerely get so tensed because what if I don't get 99? What if I get only 95? I don't know what my mother is going to say. So that is running in my mind all the time, and I'm just not able to study. So that way, our worries should not be passed on to the child. You must be very careful about that. Whatever you say or you talk to the child should be more motivating and should inspire the child to sit and study and to perform well. So that is point number 1. Point number 2: this is a time when the entire household has to support the child. So avoid inviting guests to your house, because when a guest comes home, one person or 3-4 people, then there's a lot of disturbance. The routine gets disturbed, and your son or daughter also will have to come and talk to them out of respect. So then when they go back to study, they will have to start from the beginning because they will get distracted. So as far as possible, at least 2 or 3 months before the exams, you should make up your mind, I'm not inviting anybody home, and do not have any parties at home. Do not have any functions at home as far as you can. If there is any function that you have to conduct or something that you have to organize, if you can put it off till the exams are over, that will be the best thing. So these kind of distractions should be avoided at this time. And even going for parties or going for any kind of outings, you can avoid everything during this time and allow the child to study, and then to simply sit and relax a little bit, instead of again and again, making the child do things which will distract him or her from studies. So make sure that there are no such distractions in the house. Then, point number 3. In many houses, a child who is studying for a board exam may not have a separate room for himself or herself. So they may be just sitting in the hall and studying. But there are houses where the child has his or her own room, where the study table is there and the bed is there, the cupboard, everything is there. So they sit inside and study. Now what happens is, elderly people in the house who like to watch TV, there's nothing wrong, you can go ahead and watch. But they have this feeling that they have a separate room and the door is closed. So I can watch TV, I can increase the volume, it's not going to disturb them. And they don't realize what happens. They keep the TV volume very high. And this can definitely go inside and disturb the child. You may not realize it, but try to keep the volume less if the child is sitting in a separate room and studying. Of course, if the child is sitting in the hall and studying, there's no question, no TV at all. So these kind of distractions in our day-to-day life also, you should take care that it doesn't go and distract the child. That is very, very important. Now, point number 4, which is again very, very important. Many times I have seen a child may study a lot, work very hard throughout the year, but when it is time to write the exam, if the child falls sick, then the performance also gets affected. Keep this in mind, and it is not enough if the child studies and then goes and writes the exam. The child should also be in a good frame of mind and also in a good frame of health. That is very important. So maintaining a good immunity level so that the child doesn't fall sick and maintaining good health for the child is very important. So as a parent, there are two things you have to take care of. One is sleep. And sleep is an ingredient that I think all of us find a little bit lacking in our lives today, and it's very important that we do something about it, particularly for a student, because when a student is studying or preparing for a board exam, he is using his brain a lot, and the brain needs more rest. But on the other hand, what we do is you send the child for a tuition at 5:30 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, night also you make the child sit and study, or the child sits and studies and you don't say anything. So what happens is burning the candle at both ends and getting less sleep. It only causes brain fatigue. Brain fatigue is when the brain becomes so tired that it says, I cannot do anything, and it comes to a standstill. It happens to many people. And then they cannot do anything. They cannot study, they cannot write, and it takes a long time to recover. So make sure your child gets sufficient sleep. 8 hours is recommended. But today, most of the children can't even think of sparing 8 hours when they are studying for a board exam. But at least make it 7 hours, as much as is possible. So sleep is one thing. Second is food. This is not a time for junk food, because junk food can cause some stomach upset, some kind of health problem, and then a few days will go in recovering from that. So try to keep the food homemade, as far as possible, healthy food, whatever is your general agenda or general menu. From that, make sure the child has something good to eat, something healthy, which gives him a good immunity and a lot of strength physically and mentally. And things like dry fruits can be given. But many children do not eat dry fruits if you just give it directly. You can make a smoothie and give. Nowadays, smoothie is something everybody likes. So you can improvise and make some small things which the child likes to eat, and that way make sure that the food is good, whatever the child takes. And you can tell the student that, look, you just wait till your exams are over, and then you can go and binge out, you can eat whatever you like. So that way you can make them also look forward to completing the exams, and then they can probably go and have a freak out and have whatever they like for some time. So that is very, very important. Now these 4 points are all the preparation before writing the exam. Now we come to the actual time when you go and leave the child in the examination center and you come home. Most of the parents are so tensed at this time. And here I will just tell you about something which happened when my children were very, very small, many, many years back. Now they are all quite, grown up. They have their own children now. Now, my son and daughter were very small kids, and I was working in a bank at that time. So I never used to go to their school to bring them back. They used to walk back from school and reach home in the evening, even before I reached home. So that was the situation. One day I had a holiday for some reason, and the children had exams. So half a day. So I told them, today I am at home, so I will come in the afternoon and bring you back home. They were very happy. So I went there to school, and we were standing near the gate. The gate was closed. Many parents were there, like me, many mothers actually, and we were all waiting for the gates to open. Then when the exams got over and the bell rang, the gates opened, and I was so shocked because the mothers rushed inside, and as their children came, they snatched the question paper from them. Not one mother, many of them snatched the question paper and started reading out the question. They didn't take the child home. They just stood there and said, what did you write for this? Did you write the correct answer? Did you make a mistake? This, that. And the child was reciting whatever the child wrote in the exam paper. So I was totally, dumbfounded. I said, I am not doing all this for my children. But God's mercy, I used to just tell my children, please do well, study well. And I used to generally supervise their homework only, and they used to finish it, no tuitions, nothing. But they did very well, and today both of them are quite happy that way. But when I saw this that day, I was really, worried. I said, I'm not doing all this. I'm not asking them every day, what did you write and all that stuff. I got really worried about it. But then that tension, I can still remember that scene which I saw that day. So that is the kind of tension parents undergo even when the child grows up, even when they write 10th board exam or plus 2 or NEET or any entrance exam. So what you can do when the child is writing the exam is the fifth point. Once you leave the child there in the examination center, you come back home or you're waiting there, mentally shower a nice, good, positive energy on the child. And you can do this in the form of colors, because it's all universal energy. But when you ask for these particular colors, every color has its own quality. First, ask for a beam of white light on the child as he or she is writing the exam. White light comes down, it makes the child very calm. It dissolves the anxiety in the child. Then ask for green color. Green is a color of healing. It gives the child a very good healing energy. So the child feels very good while writing the exam. And then ask for a beam of pink color. Pink is a color of love, but it's also a color of a very calming, positive energy. So white, green and pink, these three colors, just keep on showering them on the child. Even if you're at home, even if you're doing some work, the child is writing in the exam, whenever you remember, every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just shower the colors and leave it. This will keep the child in a better frame of mind, calmer, and the child will be able to perform very well, and you will definitely see the result. So I've given you 5 points here which you can keep in mind and try to practice this, and let me know how it went and how your child performed in the exam. I'm sure he or she will do very, very well.